Sometimes there are good things that don't exist and it's sad. Like, we don't have time machines yet. That would be fun to go back and watch Shakespeare joust with Einstein on Tyrannosaur Rexes. Then sometimes there are bad things that don't exist and it's good. Super mega ultra COVID that makes you sneeze while you barf and makes your wiener fall off. That would suck. I'm glad that doesn't exist. So does my wiener, actually. But then sometimes good things don't exist and it's good. Like a retro video game console that doesn't actually exist, but people still make games for it as if it does exist. And those games are amazing because they feel like retro games but are made by modern game designers with modern game design sensibilities. I'm talking about Pico-8, of course. Pico-8 is a fantasy console. It doesn't exist in real life, but in virtual life, it does exist. And the games for it are super fun and cool. I made a whole freaking video about what Pico-8 is and why you should play it. Check that out, link below if you haven't yet, after you watch this video. And in that video, I promised to show you my favorite Pico-8 games in a different video. And then I forgot. But luckily, some of you were kind enough to remind me about my promise. So that's what we're gonna do today. I've played a freaking ton of Pico-8 games, literally hundreds, and I've gathered up my favorites to show you. This is my top 10 Pico-8 games, and I'm going to be showing them to you today, and I'm going to be playing them on this, my favorite Pico-8 device, the Powkiddy RGB20SX. Lots of you guys know about this device, but if you don't, it's the perfect device for Pico-8 because it has a high-resolution square ratio screen. It runs the Gelos operating system that has built-in native Pico-8 compatibility. It has Wi-Fi and video out, so you can download games right on the doodad and play them there or play them on your TV or whatever. It kind of feels like the actual Pico-8 handheld that we never got. I got this though because it was sent to me by Lit NXT. They sell this and you can buy it from them if you want one. And if you don't want one, then you don't have to do that. That's the best part about life right there. You don't have to do things you don't want to do, apart from clicking the like button on this video. That's not optional. These games are not in order. There's 10 games that I love in a random order. These are some of my personal favorites, but not everyone likes the kind of games that I like. But I don't care what they like because the stuff that I like is better. But you really should just try a ton of games and find out which ones you like the best. I also didn't include any remakes or demakes on here. The Pico-8 has tons of those, but these here today are all original concepts. And all of these games are free. You could play them right in your browser right now, or download them to your retro doodad of choice. And there's links to all of these games in the thingamabob below. It's a good thing it's October because The Lost Night is pretty much the perfect game to get you in the Halloween spirit. This is an adorable Halloween-themed role-playing game. You are a little trick-or-treater in this weird world, in this kind of depressing village, just trying to load up on candy, but there are people in trouble because there's roaming ghosts and zombies and other spooky things out there that you need to defeat. And instead of turn-based RPG mechanics, the fighting sequences are little shoot-them-up games. And you can level up your health and projectiles with the candy that you collect. This is just such a cool, unique little game. The kind of game that could only exist on a system like Pico-8. Definitely play this one if you need some help getting in the spooky mood for Halloween. When I was a little dweeb, when we finally got a computer with a color monitor and could play decent looking games, one game that somehow found its way into my collection was a game called The Catacomb Abyss. Trials of the Sorcerer really reminds me of that game, so it tickles me in the nostalgia gland, even though I only discovered it recently. It's a procedurally generated first-person shooter. You're a warlock and you learn that the other warlocks unleashed evil on the world and you need to save the world. I don't know. It's just tight, simple first-person shooter mechanics. It's fun and satisfying. You can upgrade your gear as you go, and the art is nice. Nice different tile sets as you progress, and the engine is seriously impressive for a Pico-8 game. It's also on the easy side, so it has kind of a chill vibe to it. I've played this a bunch, and I always enjoy myself when I do. This one here is called High Stakes. The idea is that some vampires have stolen your blood, and you have to win rounds of a card game to get it back slowly. The rules of the card game require some explanation that I don't have time for here. You can read the rules on the game page linked below, but basically it's a probability game. You are flipping cards to kind of narrow down which card is the vampire. As you complete rows or columns, you'll unlock hint items that can give you an idea of what the other cards are. It's kind of a process of elimination thing, and there's this super satisfying risk-reward feeling to it. If you win 3 out of 5 games, you get a chance to double down and go for like all or nothing. It's tense, and I like that. And as you play, you unlock higher difficulties that increase the risk but also the reward. It almost has a Balatro feel to it. It's addictive as heck, and it's just an awesome theme and style. I absolutely love this game, even though I suck at it. This is Golf Sunday, and it's like a relaxing day on the greens, minus the sunburn and the embarrassment. There are millions, if not bazillions, of golf games out there, but there are two unique mechanics here that set this one apart. The first is that there is no club swinging. You just choose your target, and the further away it is, the less accurate you are. And the other mechanic is that there are golf carts, and you actually have to drive around and get your ball and between the holes. It's just such a small thing, but it's so freaking immersive. I can't believe this little simple Pico-8 golf game feels more authentic than any of the big name golf games I've played over the years. If you're looking for a fun, laid-back golf game that doesn't take itself too seriously, grab your club and go give Golf Sunday a shot. As chill as Golf Sunday is, no game ever is as chill as this next game. This is Cab Ride. You are a train conductor and your job is to ride from station to station and pick up the passengers and let them off. There are actual game mechanics here, but honestly, they're so minimal and optional that they might as well not even be there. Really, you're just here to have fun controlling the speed of the train and riding around, seeing the beautiful sights. And the sights are beautiful. I have no idea what kind of wizardry this developer had to do to pull off a game engine that looks this good within the limitations of Pico-8, but it's seriously impressive. This is the kind of game that you should play when you're stressed out. Just grab a hot tea or coffee, put on your train conductor's hat, and just ride the rails, picking up passengers and feeling your troubles melt away as the world passes you by in Cab Ride. I'm sorry, but I have to interrupt this list of Pico-8 games to bring you an important message. It has been brought to my attention that over 60% of you are not subscribed. What the heck? Why haven't you subscribed? Is it because I'm better at video games than you? It is, isn't it? Well, that's not fair. You know that? So just quit being a jealous loser and freaking subscribe. There, good. Thank you. All right, back to the games. Those who know me well know that I love a good traditional roguelike game. Curse of the Lich King is an authentic roguelike dungeon crawler that feels like a love letter to those who enjoy classic punishing turn-based roguish gameplay. You'll navigate dark dungeons, battling monsters and collecting loot like a doomed magpie. Each run is different, but be prepared to die. A lot. It's the kind of game where you'll swear you'll never play it again, only to find yourself back in the dungeon faster than you can say, actually, that's not technically a roguelike. If you enjoy strategy and that kind of satisfying loop of gathering loot, fighting bad guys, leveling up, and eventually dying a horrible death, this game will scratch that itch. Just don't forget to bring an apple, because apparently they heal wounds. Who knew? My cousin's kid, who I call my cousin, she's a little sweetie. Every few weeks, I go pick her up from school and get pizza and go babysit her until my cousin comes home, spending some time with her cool cousin TechDweeb. And I get so many handhelds, it's at the point where I have a new one basically every time I go and see her. So now whenever she gets in the car, she sarcastically says, "Let me guess, you have a new handheld." And I say, "Yup." And she says, "Does it have Pico-8?" And because I know she's going to ask that, I got it ready with Pico-8. So I say, "Yup." And she says, "Okay, give it to me." And 9 times out of 10, she fires up Alpine Alpaca. And who can blame her? This game is freaking adorable. You can probably just tell what the game is just by looking at the screen. You are an alpaca skiing down a hill, and you have a deck of cards that tell you what moves you can make. You can level up your deck as you go through checkpoints, and you need to avoid the hazards and really just see how long you can go. This is exactly the kind of game Pico-8 is best for. Simple, fun games that you can play over and over. Combo Pool is a unique spin on the game mechanic where you combine things to make other things. And this one is based on pool. You start out shooting balls that are dark and they get brighter as they combine. So the black ones make gray ones and the gray ones make white ones and then the white ones make yellow ones and so on until you get a glowing pink one. Once you combine that with another glowing pink one, you win. But every time you shoot a ball, your little counter goes down. So you need to make sure each ball that you shoot actually does something to progress the board. It's tough, but addictive as heck. And the pool mechanics and physics make this one super satisfying to play. It's half Suika, half pool, half bust a move, and half just fun. That's all there is to it, but that's all you need, really. And here we have another roguelike, except in this one you're a pig. So it's called Porklike. Clever. It's a classic roguelike in the traditional rogue style, but this one is actually almost a puzzle game. The stakes are higher because you have less health and you can take less hits. The maps are smaller. There's more combat-focused items, very little healing. If you linger too long in a level, a big bad guy appears, and you'll really need to plan out your moves and which items you'll use because you can't just tank hits the way you can in most roguelikes. The art style is super simple in this one. It almost feels like an LCD game or something, and I totally love the vibe of it. I love roguelikes, and this one has a totally different look and feel and gameplay than most, so give this one a go if you like what you see, or if you like pigs. This last game is so freaking silly. It's called Wizard's Rule. In this one, you are a guy, and not a wizard, but just a guy with a laser, and it's your job to go through dungeons, killing dragons and monsters, and try to hunt down the wizard. The gameplay really feels like a classic arcade game. It's sort of like Pac-Man meets Berserk. You'll be zapping foes with your lasers while dodging their attacks, and some enemies can turn invisible, so you have to use your radar at the bottom to track them. It starts out slow and easy, but the difficulty picks up quick. It's so frantic and fun, and the charming retro-looking pixel art and sound effects will have you grinning like a dork as you frantically try to survive. It kind of feels like a long-lost Atari game or something. It's pure dumb arcadey fun. Exactly the kind of game that I like to fire up for quick sessions, which is usually what I want when I load up good old Pico-8. And that's it. That's all I have for you today. 10 amazing Pico-8 games, some of my favorites that I've discovered. If you like this, then definitely check out my first Pico-8 video, link below, because I cover other games in that one. And this won't be the last Pico-8 video that I make, because I have a ton more that I'm excited to share. And I'd love to know your favorite Pico-8 games. If you have any that you think I'd like, please leave a comment. I promise I'll check out every game that you dweebs suggest. Click the thumbs up button if you like the video, or don't if you didn't. That's it from me. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.